Hi guys, it's Miss Hickson. I'm going to help you guys with these two sheets that were in your pack. They're called Detail Delights. Detail Delights. These are graphic organizers. Graphic organizers are ways to organize your thoughts in a way that helps you understand better a concept. And this one is called Detail Delights because it's wanting you to look at a topic and then show details that support that topic. In class, a lot of times when we read a passage, we would figure out what the main idea of the passage was, and then we would list the details that supported that main idea. And when we did the ice cream cones, that helped you guys understand that a little better. Let me get a marker. We said that the main idea or topic was the top of the cone, the topic. And then the supporting details were the cone, because they supported or held it up. Details. So, you want me to put a cherry on top? There it is. Yay. And then here's some fudge on top of there too. So for your sheets, you could have done it by yourself, and you could have read your book and then thought of a topic that was addressed in the book and then had supporting details to go with it. For Tale of Despereaux, relating this to our novel study, I picked a couple of topics and I wrote details about them. Here's the finished product, and we're going to do it together. So here's the finished product, two different topics that I picked, and then the supporting details. So let's do this one first. And let's put our names on there. And the topic that I picked from our book is that Despereaux is no ordinary mouse. He really is not. Besides the fact that he thinks and talks, which all the mice in the story think and talk. So that doesn't set him apart from the other mice in the story, because they all think and talk in that story. But even in the world that the author Kate DiCamillo has created, Despereaux is different from the other mice. So I wrote on here, Despereaux is no ordinary mouse. He is not ordinary. So let's think of some details that support the fact that he is no ordinary mouse. In order to do this along with me, why don't you think right now if you can think of some details by yourself? Like, just think. What are some things about Despereaux that make him different? Well, the first thing that I wrote was about when he was born. He said he was born with a small body, giant ears, and open eyes. So that made him stand out right away. He was born with a small body, giant ears, and open eyes. Okay, so let's write that down. The next one, another detail, is that he chooses to read books instead of eat them, because the other mice, they nibbled on those books. They chewed on them. He chooses to read books instead of eating them. Do you see how all these details are supporting the topic? This is the topic, that Despereaux is no ordinary mouse, and then these things back it up. What's another thing? He makes different choices than the other mice do. And I put a long sentence, I made it kind of a compound sentence. I'm gonna make it a compound sentence, add in a word. He makes different choices, and ultimately he defies the mouse council. And defy was one of our vocabulary words, and defy means to go against somebody. So they had made rules and he went against them, and that makes him different. He makes different choices, comma, and ultimately he defies the mouse council. There we go. What is one last thing he did that made him no ordinary mouse? Well, he fell in love with a human. And I wrote, he falls in love with a human. Who was that human? It was Princess P. He fell in love with Princess P. All right. That's that one. And so I chose a different topic, but from the same book, for this other sheet, this other graphic organizer. And this one just has you write the topic up here and then all the details, and there's 6 of them they want you to come up with to support that topic. And the topic that I came up with is that Miggery Sow, one of the characters, has had a hard life. I really think she has. So for topic, I'm writing Miggery Sow has had a hard life. There it is. Miggery Sow has had a hard life. Notice I capitalized the word Miggery and Sow. Miggery because it's the first letter in the sentence, but also because it's a proper noun. It's not just she, it's not just the girl, it is her proper name, Miggery Sow, so it needs to be capitalized. Okay, so what is our first supporting detail that supports the topic that Miggery Sow has had a hard life? Well, her mother died. That was the first thing that had happened to her. Her mother died. The second detail was that I came up with was that she is slow-witted. She's not super smart. They say that she's not the sharpest knife in the drawer, is how they said it in the book. That's a metaphor. She is a human. She's not a knife. But it's comparing her to a knife. That in that big drawer of knives, she's not the sharpest one in there. She is slow-witted. And that must make life a little more hard. Takes her a little bit longer to figure things out. She is partially deaf. She is partially deaf. Means she can't hear that great. She's always saying in the story, she's always saying, eh, eh, eh. And when something happens, she says, grrr. She was abandoned by her father. Abandoned. He sold her to his brother, her uncle. By her father. So that is another thing that adds to her having a hard life. Oh, another one. People have mistreated and abused her. Mistreated. That happens quite often in fairy tales. And one of the characters was abused or mistreated. Remember Cinderella? They put her to work in her, when her dad died, her stepmom put her to work and was mean to her. People have mistreated and abused her. A lot of times they have that sort of thing happen to a character in a book because they're showing how that character overcame the abuse and the mistreatment, or sometimes it's just showing how that affected the character and is the motivation behind the decisions they make. It's the reason why they do the things that they do. Why did Meg want to be a princess so bad? Well, one of the reasons why was because she was not happy with her life. She wanted a different life. And so that's why the book explains why all this stuff happened to her. So the last one that I'm going to put for why Miggery, or reasons and details about that support the topic that Miggery Sao has had a hard life, I put that she has a deep and desperate desire to become a princess. And I'm putting that as part of her hard life because it's kind of something that Despereaux knows that's not really a dream that can happen for Miggery, and Roscuro knows too. He's using it to manipulate her. They know that she's not going to become a princess. She's not going to marry a prince, and she's not going to be able to switch places with Princess P. And anyone can tell the difference between Princess P and Miggery. No one's going to look at Miggery dressed up like a princess and say, that's Princess P. That's not going to happen. But Miggery thinks it might happen. She thinks that's going to happen. So, that's just adding to her kind of having a hard, kind of a sad life. She has a deep and desperate desire to become a princess. And I want to show you something I did there with that sentence. I used 3 different words that start with the letter D. She has a deep and desperate desire to become a princess. Using the same letter to start several words in the same sentence is called an alliteration. And it's a tool that authors use sometimes when they write to add to their craft, add to the language in the story to make it more beautiful and engaging to the reader. It sounds poetic, it sounds pretty when you start a lot of the words with the same letter. So she has a deep and desperate desire to become a princess. It's like a tongue twister. It all starts with a D. And those all support our topic that Miggery Sow has had a hard life. And so you can write those on your graphic organizers. And I hope you guys have a nice evening. Bye. Bye.